Okay, we're back again. This is Brendan, and we're drawing heads today. Um, this is my third time getting into this. I had sound problems, which I just couldn't live with, and just a moment ago, I already started with a brand new sound card I have, and my phone started going off. That's really annoying. I gotta remember to turn the volume down. I'm gonna go with a rectangle. We're going to try and draw some heads with perspective using boxes, or rectangle boxes. And the first thing I keep trying to do, this will be the third or fourth time I've done this, is show the difference between a box and a rectangle and making a head. Okay, here is a box, or actually a square and a rectangle. The square usually has the same length of sides, as we know from our math classes, and a rectangle will be longer on two sides. And the eyes go right in the middle. Beginners, most I don't want to say like I'm advanced or any better than anyone else, but a lot of people who start to pick up drawing, they'll start off with something like an oval for a head. And this is very common. When we're starting off, you put the eyes up here, and you have hair like that. You might make a nose like this, and a mouth there, and you see it doesn't really look all that realistic. Let's not blame the oval. Let's keep the oval thing. Okay, fine. If you want to do an oval, it's not too bad of a start. And then let's say that we put the eyes directly in the center of the head, and a lot of people just don't believe this. And now you see what happens is we actually get a more realistic kind of canvas there, and the hair, there's a forehead here. And the reason that a lot of people don't realize this, I think a reason, is when people are looking at each other, they don't normally, I guess that people's hair is there. Hair is important for people. You're human. But you just look at the face, the features that you recognize people with. Like, hair can change all the time, but you still recognize a person by their face. These are important things. You have the eyes, the nose, the mouth. Sometimes the chin is important to the features of a person. And hair, well, hair can be like this or it can be like that. But if the eyes, the nose, and these features here are all the same on a person, then you'll recognize them regardless of how their hair is. So there's features being important to us. We think that they make the whole head, visually speaking. But in fact, the whole head is also including, where your brain is up here, your hair, and so all this, when it's said and done, your eyes actually fall right in the middle of the space from the tippy top of your head to the bottom of your chin, unless of course you have some big crazy like maybe afro hair or something. Then we'd have to shave off your hair and start from this point down to here and find the middle, and that's where your eyes would be. So just to make another analogy here, whereas you can see the box is not a good shape to start with. If we have a rectangle kind of shape, then you get a better kind of thing going on. And there's everybody's a little different. Every human has a different kind of proportions to their nose and their head, but usually it's about how long. It's usually like you can fit a circle in the top part of the rectangle, and then another half of a circle on the bottom, because that's where the chin comes down. If you can imagine it like two overlapping circles with a I'm not sure if I'm right, but I'd guess that the smaller circle would be the bottom circle would be a little smaller, something along these lines. Or that usually works for me anyway. And what we're doing here is we're not drawing from let me just erase all this. We're not drawing from life. We're drawing from our imagination. That's something that's special about what I'm doing here. This could actually be longer, but I'm just going to go with it. See what happens. This type of drawing technique would be useful for comic book artists and cartoonists, people who need to repetitively draw characters from imagination, which happens a lot. Also, animation. There's a lot of places where this can become very useful. So what I'm doing here, using those perspective lines, is just making an empty box. Actually, let me go back a few steps. I meant to get back down to 5 pixels here. Meant to do something like this, right? Yeah, I'm just making what would you call it? A glass box, sort of a see-through box, so that we can see. This is going to be our guideline in a way, our base. It doesn't have to be perfect because ultimately I'm just going to erase this. And we'll put one more line I forgot here. Down to 5. I'm not really in a hurry, if you can't tell. This is intended to be a longer video. These draw-along videos are intended, you know, just for I just enjoy making them. So yeah, if you're looking for a quick 5-minute tutorial, you might want to go check out a different one. I could ramble on for hours here. This so now we have a box here that I can fit a head into, and of course heads are more rounded, but using the box does something that I just want to prove a point with this that we're going to see in a minute. It does something that's very useful. First of all, we can get the middle of the head real easy by looking at this line. It's this long, and cut off the middle. Usually cutting something in half across a line is not that hard. So that's where this line is. The eyes would be about here, and maybe I should not have. Oh, that dot's still there. This is where, yeah, the vanishing point. Don't really want to lose that. So we're in the middle here. I should go down here. I just make it like that. What I'm going to do with this layer is turn the opacity down a bit. That's what I meant to do. Yeah. Up here. Wait, let me make that dot again. Up here I'm going to delete this. Yeah. We're also playing with layers today. So yeah, we have this line here on this layer. Going to be where the eyes are. Top of the head, chin, I'm not going to worry about right now. From here to there, that looks about right. And yeah, it's a good starter. So this is something I did in a previous video. I'm going to do it again. Let's pretend that the front of this box is where his face is, right? So he's looking over this way. He's looking over there. And this is where his actual head is going to be. So let's pretend it's flat like a picture. So here comes the you know, top of his head, and we're trying to draw it with perspective here. So the middle of this, you know, line here is where his chin will be, and it looks like a flat image. His eyes will start about here and go down to there. So it's going to come down this way. This one also. So his eyes get smaller, you see, as they go away with perspective. This one will be considerably smaller. And his nose will have a bit of a bridge in this case. Not everybody has a big bridge like that, but this guy does. And then his mouth would be about, you know, somewhere about there. Maybe some eyebrows. This is the forehead. So his hairline would be here. Now this is kind of hard to make out, but what we're seeing is it's as if I had drawn this. I'm not, you know, being perfect or anything, but as if I drew this with his big nose coming out, one of these. I just drew that from kind of like a side view. I put it on the side of this box. And then on this box, what I'm going to do is put, well, this is a front view. Now I'm going to put the side view, the profile, over here. Since it seems to meet up right here, I'll do the same exact thing here. Side view comes back like this. The back of his head, where his brain is, should come in here. So yeah, just like that. His nose would pop out here. Meet with that one. And then his chin, nose comes in like this. His lips right here. Chin might come out a little. Make that look a little bit more natural. Okay. And then his eyes are right about here. But you see from the side view, they're going to be a lot thinner. And his cheek will come out like this. And his eyebrow will be right here. Okay. So here we have a perfect profile. And this is all on top of a box. I'm going to even turn this layer up a little bit. So on this side of the box, we have the front of his face. On this side, we have the side of his face, or head, however you want to put it. And right here, imagine if he's wearing glasses. It's always an easy trick to remember where to put the ears. If he had glasses on, then his glasses should rest. Oh, I'm on the wrong layer. No big deal. His glasses should rest right on the top of his ear, right? They usually go like that. Well, I'm not going to give him glasses now, but that's it's a good way to remember where to start that bottom part of the ear. And it'll come up a little. Sometimes it has a slight peanut kind of a shape like that, and then it means the jaw. And jaws can vary. Not sure what to say about the jaws. Hairline, he has a forehead. Behind the forehead here, there should be a bit of a temple area, and that's where it starts to come down. And then we have this thing happening, somewhere between here and there, because you got to leave room for the sideburns. This might even, well, this can vary too, person to person. I'm going to go in with the eraser. I kind of like it coming up here a little bit more. Yeah, but this is usually meeting around that area, I think. You can use your sense of judgment for that. Okay, so now having this, here's how it should look prospectively from this side. It should be tapering off into the distance, and his nose will come out a little bit. But because we're doing this on a bit of an angle, see how the original box we made, we're not looking at it right from the front, we're not looking at it from the side, but it's kind of just on an angle with you know, a bit of perspective to it. So let's turn this layer down also. I'm going to use that as a guideline. Now I'm going to take these two faces and consider the whole 3D of it. If this is how it would look from the front view, this is how it would look from the side view, how can we bring this into you know, a real world kind of situation? First of all, you notice his head starts in the halfway point here of that, and also here it touches at the top, which may or may not always be the case. Somebody might have a head shaped like this or whatnot, but you know, for general purpose here, that's what I'm going to go with. With that being the case, it's going to be kind of a mixture of these two that gives us the ultimate head shape. I'm going to come around like this. Always imagine there's his brain in here, this is a skull, the spine connects back here. A lot of this is common knowledge. Then over here he has a forehead, so it'll come in a little bit, and a cheek will come out, come back down a little, and there's the chin, comes right there. Now his chin from the side starts here, and from the front ends here. We're going to have a combination of that and end up with one of these. And let's see what we have just with that. What if we turn off these other layers? Right. So now you can see it's almost a contour, the outside of a head shape. You can already start to imagine a couple of eyes here, a nose, and a mouth. Let's keep going at it. So now from the front view, we can see from a side view his eyes should start from about here, and from the front view we can see it's going down on an angle like that with perspective. Let me see what happens if I start right about from this point. I think it's a good way to go. And I'm going to keep tapering off down that way and put the other eye down here. It should be a lot smaller. His nose starts here. This from the front view, side view. Let's see what happens. Nope. Not good. Let me go. I have to go back a few steps. Where did all this stuff come from? Yep. I'm gonna go up a little bit. I'm gonna stick with the front view. The reason I'm usually doing this better, the reason I'm getting confused is because we're on the these layers are a little hard to see. I'm gonna stick with this front view here. I'm gonna still have his nose come out like this, and this is all just to prove a point. This is not like, you know, a recommended drawing technique at all. It's just to prove a rough point of how this perspective box can give us a half decent end result for a you know, a finished three-dimensional looking head. You have this here, that there. Okay, let's see what happens now. Right, now we're getting somewhere. That's a little better. I think the original box wasn't that good. pull this down here. This is where his sideburns are. And we're going to go up a little. And I really need to get out of this, all of these crazy things that are going on here. To keep that box there, and that's about it. Okay. So with that kind of rough sketch or rough guideline, let me see if I can turn this into something a little bit better. Going like this. Let's see what we're missing here. His cheek come like this. Actually, I'm going to do this on the sketch layer. His cheek would come out like this, and this would come out like there. So what we need to do is get rid of this part. His eyes are a little too big. And even from the side view, you should see, the roundness of his eye. This one is probably way too big. Yeah. Something like that. I'm probably just going to do his eyes like black dots this time. Just down a little. Clean this up. Alright. Almost fell off my Wacom tablet there. And there you have something of a a starter head. This is not very good, but it has a lot of the basis of what we would do. I would not normally go through all that trouble, but this proves a couple of points that you need to keep in mind. And I mean, I would recommend doing some drawings like this just to see how you can fit a head into a box, because it brings up a lot of really interesting things. What if a common way that a lot of people start drawing when they're not doing 3D, how would they do it? They might do something like this for a side view, which isn't necessarily bad for, what would you call it, a cartoon, a simple Sunday Times cartoon or something like this. Get this up here. Right, it has all the features that you need. It has a mouth. We can tell it's human. It's a mouth, a nose, eyes, and ears. There's hair. You have a hairline. So it has all the things that a person needs. But where's all the perspective? If we compare this one to that one, this is, I would say it's, I'm not going to say superior, but if you're trying to be a bit more realistic and learn more about art, this would be the way to go, something like that. So let's get rid of this. Try another one. This time I'm not going to use the box. That was to prove a point. I'm going to get rid of the boxes. Yeah, I'll just go straight on this layer here. Now I'm going to, using that type of knowledge of how perspective works, I'm just going to, actually let me delete a couple of these layers. Yeah. I don't want to rush anything. At the same time, I don't want this video to be incredibly slow and dull. Okay. So what I'm doing here is I'm drawing a brain. Again, we're going from the side view. I'm just going to sketch things out from the top to the bottom. Again, with the eyes in the middle. Nose comes here. Incredibly rough. Very rough. And we need more room for the cheek to come out here. And this is my favorite part of drawing, is just not caring at all about any of the rules, using your imagination, just getting in there and scribbling. This isn't even sketching. We haven't got the sketch yet. I'll just scribble, not worry about anything. Break all of the rules, do whatever you want. Just get in there and keep the pen moving, or pencil, or Wacom, whatever it is. Okay. Now, the reason I do this comes from the way that I do things with natural medium, which would be, pencil, paper, pen, is I just rough things out, and then I come over. What I would do, this first layer, I would have just drawn very lightly to give me just give me a base, give me something. I can't just imagine a full finished image and every line on a blank piece of paper with nothing. Cannot do it. Can't go there. But this I can do. I can have a rough sketch, and then my imagination starts to come out and see where things are wrong, where things are right, and start to fill in the missing pieces. And a lot of this rough sketch stuff often turns into happy accidents, as they call it. Just details and shading and stuff like that that you otherwise might not have thought of. Just brings things out a little bit. Okay, so now we're starting to look like a drawing. See, when I take that away, how loose it looks? There's so much missing. It's kind of like, I felt comfortable with that sketch behind me, and now when I put this away, it's like, oh, where did my backbone go? That had all this stuff in it. I don't even want to take it away, but I kind of have to in order for this to improve. I've got to, you got to take yourself out of the comfort zone sometimes in order to push things forward. Ears around here. Again, as you can see, the top of the ear should always be making a beeline to the eyes. I'm not going to go into detail about the eyes this time, and just make them, well, however they come out. Doesn't look so happy, this guy. What's he doing here? Well, at least he's got lips. That's something to be happy about, yeah. I'm just defining the lines a little bit more here. Now, if I were to go back down to the sketch layer, which I would like to do, I kind of want to figure out exactly if this cheek line is going that way. He looks a little Asian. Just a little bit. Coming out a little bit Asian. Cheek line should be about there. That'll help me to do something later on. I think that's about it. I mean, as far as line work goes, I'm on the wrong layer. That's a good rough outline there. Now, if I wanted to, I could even see, this is where I started off very rough. That's actually what I started off with. Then we went up to here, a little bit more cleaner. See, compare the two. This is much more cleaner, and if I wanted to, I could even turn the opacity down on this, make another layer, and really get the lines out. But for this time, all I'm going to do is add a little shading to it just to see how it works. Now, the shading, something about shading, I'm not going to shade like this. I want to give it a, turn the opacity down. Just give it this kind of gray look to it. I'm not going to use the color gray. I'll show you why in a minute, because I can play with the transparency level, the opacity a little bit later. What happens if you turn down the brush opacity is that when it crosses itself, see, it starts to get darker. And that can be useful sometimes, because you might want to sketch a little, and the more you sketch onto something, then it gets darker and darker. You can do little tricks like that. Things like that are kind of neat. That's useful sometimes. But I don't feel like I have the control over this area to do that. It can get a little hard to control. So instead of turning the opacity down on the brush, I'm going to actually turn it down on the layer, which is here. I'll just leave that stuff. Oh no, I can delete it safely. Yeah. And now I'm just going to draw like this, turn the opacity down, and see now, regardless of how I cross over it, it always just stays that one color. So that's a good thing to do. Sometimes, not all the time. Yeah, leave that there. Delete this. And that. Okay, now we're good to go. Let's imagine the light is somewhere over here, and so he's going to have shadow coming over this side. A little bit over here, a little bit this way. Actually, if we do it like that, it's not as interesting. All I have to do is shade a little bit around here. The light's coming on the other side. A little bit down here, maybe, under his ear. Yeah, it's not so dynamic. It will come down here, if it's up high, If it's a close light, that also makes a difference. Distance of the light. And there might be a little bit inside the eye. Over here. That's there. Now with this kind of opacity like this, I can turn it down a lot, just have subtle shading, or I can turn it up, make it look like a strong contrast light, and that'll all depend on where he is, the scene, the setting, time of day, lighting, if he's inside. We have a very rough drawing there. See if I outline that a bit, what happens. Get down to a 5. And on this, did I make a new layer? No. Yeah, I need a new layer. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so for this one, 5 is right. Yeah, and now I want to make some smooth lines. I'm horrible on the Wacom with making smooth lines. I'm still not used to it. I usually draw on paper. So I'm going to turn on this smooth stroke in the GIMP, which I would assume they also have in Photoshop or whatever you're using. I could tell when I'm watching people use the what do you call it? The Manga Studio. It's very easy to see that they have some kind of special guide, helping them guide their lines through the to make clean brush strokes like that. Now when I zoom in here, you can see very clearly where his eye should be, where his ear should be. All that stuff I did just a moment ago is from a pretty good distance. Okay. Hair, just draw in one piece. There's a lot of people, they think they draw hair and you should go one at a time, and they ask, how do I draw hair? Well, not like that. You can do that later, but for starters, just make it all one piece, like this. Get the contour of it, and you do shading. If you have to draw each and every hair on every person that you ever draw, you probably never finish drawing too much. You can if you want to. There's no need for it, really. Okay. Now it's looking better and better. This over here. A little lighting for the eye. And for this, I could use a little white in here to help bring out that highlight in his eyes. There you can see we have a half decent little guy there. Not so good. It would be better with a gray background, as I usually like to do. You bring out highlights. Now the gray background, go back in with white. Do I have my white? Yeah. And I might even put the white on another layer, same as I did with the shading. This way later on I can play with the opacity. Make brush a little bigger. The hair is not a smooth thing. Here, right over here, this side of the cheek. I think that's what I was missing before, was the light. This side of his nose, it'll hit there, or this way. Get some highlights. These are highlights. The highlights is what brings out little things that just pop out. I feel like I don't need a smooth stroke on. Be a little spot here and here. There's some muscle tone coming in or something like this. Just little things that the light hits, which might be smooth and shiny, or if the light's just hitting a particular area with a bit more strength. I haven't decided on his hairstyle really. If he has, I don't know, kind of like a crew cut. I think his hair is being pulled back a little, so it should be kind of like this. have some lines coming back that way. Light might be kind of behind him. Come down here. Yeah. Okay. Now it's getting better and better. Bring the opacity down on that, and I think that would be near perfect. So you can see from where we started off not so long ago using boxes like this. Let's see if we were to put a box on him here. Probably be something like this. This line's going down that way. Might be over there. This one's going up that way. Maybe about there. And his eyes go off. So the vanishing point would be like somewhere over here. It's not always perfect. And this one would go down that way a little, and that one up that way. So this guy's box head would be something like that. And you can do this by starting off with the box, or you can do it like I just did with that, and just you know, just freeform it and see what happens. You never know. How's that? That's a horrible box. Wow, never seen such a ridiculous box in my life. What's wrong with this box? I can't even draw a box and I'm trying to draw heads. Oh well. Anyway, you get the point. There was supposed to be a box. I want somewhere wrong with a I want wrong with the vanishing points, that's why. As you can see, I'm not trying to do anything perfect in these videos, just messing around. So there's a box in here. I want to draw a face. Down a couple points, 5 points. Say if the box is facing this way, so his eyes would be right here. Put that on a different layer. And this layer, yeah, his eyes would be here. This would be the side of his face, head would come down here. It's a little bit easier when you're looking from the front. It's what we're used to looking at when we see people. Usually look from the front. This is a big, very wide box. So you'd have a wide face. And that happens. So we did it like this, and the back of the box is over there. That means his head will come up around here, around the back, come in a little, ear with a perspective going along with the box. Remember, we have these lines for a reason. So this goes like that, that goes like this. So the ear would also be kind of skinny and flat. Oh, that's way, way too high. Not taking my own advice. Here's the eye line. Back to a brush. Ear should start about here. I'm just making it go up too high. Yeah. Kind of like that. It's just like if you have a circle like this, you look at it from the side, it's going to look like an oval. So with the ears, you also want to make it kind of skinnier than normal. His flaps might pop out a little bit. Don't ask me why I'm doing this in white. Just making a point. I'll go ahead and make another layer. Go to black. It's a little easier this way. Jaw will be right under the ear. Come up here to the face. And you have to think, you gotta see through things sometimes. I used to struggle with this line. I still do sometimes. This jaw line, it comes from the ear. That's an easy one. But when you get over here, how does this one end up? Well, his other ear is going to end up about, according to this box in our background, it's going to end up, you know, kind of like over there. So this line should come up in a way. It's going to meet the back of that. And that means basically the cheek is going to be covering the that sharp edge of the jawline. This is a strange looking guy, so that's just how it is. I'll erase that. Where'd we go with the head? What do I need? This thing, yeah. And we'll go back to 5. It's gonna make black squiggles. That's what I'll call them. These are officially called squiggles for the eyes. under lip, upper lip. See, now I can see that's not good. The lips, for me, there's got to be at least this much space for the chin. After having drawn the lips in here, I don't feel as though there's enough space here between the nose and the upper lip. So it's a good thing we're still in sketch mode. I can just take that away up a little bit higher. For me, that's okay. Big nostrils, small nostrils, doesn't matter. It's all different types of people. Strong bridge on the nose. Squiggles. Forehead. Leave some room. You gotta remember to leave some room for the temple. It's easy for me to just do temple first, then sideburns, and then you go like this. That just seems to work. The ear back there. There we have another face. Not the best face in the world. Not too shabby either. And with this face, let me go to this layer and just erase all that. This is the white layer, is it? Which one's the white layer? This one, yeah. Where's that box? There it is. Just get rid of the box, I don't need it anymore. There you go, you have a guy, looks like he's squinting. Squinting guy. Now put a little bit of the old shading in there. Where's the shade layer? I should have labeled these layers. Let's make the light coming in strong from the other side now. So to be, you know, if the light's coming from over there, then there's going to be a shadow here. Nose points out a little. The side of the lips, right in there. There's a little dimple in this area, right underneath the nose. If you look in the mirror, you can see I have a little dimple that comes out there. Most people have that dimple. And this part of the lips, that part here, yeah. Temple, Shirley Temple. This one. This whole side of the head, because there's only light from over there, which is not always realistic. Light usually bounces around and you have a little bit of light over here, a little bit over there. I'll actually do some of that in a minute too. Just do this first. Just an example. Yeah. So now you have a real 3D person starting to pop off the page there. And what was I saying about the lighting? Yeah, let's erase a little bit, because what's going to happen with this light here, let's say if there's a wall right here, well, that was an eraser. If there were a wall right here, the light's going to come from over there like this, and it's going to bounce back over this way and hit him. That's what light does, is bounces all over the place. It's reflective, especially if this happened to be a mirror. So with that phenomenon happening, go back to our white layer, if that's it. Maybe a little bit, I want to make it transparent. It should be really kind of faint. It should be bouncing, and I'm not even sure exactly where. Probably, yeah, maybe around here, maybe around there. And that's really going to help the I don't know if I need it there. It might be around here. Yeah. Just what light does. That brings it brings things to life a little bit more. Now I still need the highlights, which is this layer maybe. Yeah. Light's hitting here and there on this side of the face. And maybe the tip of the nose. Not much else I can say about that. It just is what it is. The chin kind of looks plastic. Doesn't look perfectly realistic. I think I went a little overboard with that white, that reflective light there. Or maybe I didn't do enough. I don't know. Needs to be more subtle. Something like that. That's what happens. And this, I just want to erase some of it. It's, you know what's wrong with this? It's not really making the shape that he has over here. Should have that, yeah, the cheek shape wasn't really coming out right. Is this necessary here? There should be sort of a circle shape on the front of his chin. Gonna cut that off. And he has fat cheeks, so such is life. Forehead should have forehead shape. Nose should have a nose shape, and so on. Not too shabby. I'm not going to let it down if I don't add a line there to show the other side of his neck. Which one is the black layer? This one. Right. I'm not drawing because it's opaque. Is that the... That's the wrong layer. I always do this. That one, yeah. That I just had to make that line. I also just have to make a t-shirt. I don't know why. I'm addicted. And we'll do a little bit of white over there with the opacity down. This is light. And at this point I just don't even know what layer I'm on. I made too many layers. I should flatten them all, but I'm not going to. This layer. Yeah. This needs to go all the way up. Yep. Adam's apple makes a little shape like that. Okay, good enough. I made another head. Let's get rid of some of this junk. See what we've made. What kind of monster have we created here? I need some of this white stuff is junk. Oops, some of it's not. I just made that box here. It's not really necessary. And the other layers, get rid of this stuff. Is this the one? Nope. This one. This is about 1,400 pixels by something. So here's this guy, not too shabby. He's got some shading, some contour. This guy is sleeping or enjoying the light. He's meditating. That's what he's doing, meditating. Yeah. And that's that. Just a couple of heads. This video is going on, so I'm going to cut it here. We'll come back next time. We'll get into female heads, and I'm going to do more dynamic angles on the heads, look from above and from below and all that, you know, crazy stuff. And then later on we'll be moving on to bodies and stuff, and we'll just take it from there. Hope you enjoyed. Have a good day.